Hey folks, Machinery Pete here. Guess where I am? I'm in Allegan, Michigan. Always great fun to come back to Michigan, and we were filming today a preview. We're getting ready for the auction here for Ken and Joy Darby Farms, and this will be an episode upcoming on our Machinery Pete TV show. And we're joined by Dave Wachowski, district rep for Michigan for Big Iron, and you guys are having the sale, and the sale is next Thursday, April 20th.
Correct, yep, April 20th.
Okay, so it's not on your weekly Wednesday sale.
No, the day after.
Right, and you guys do that quite often for farmers, kind of have their own retirement sale right on Big Iron.
Yeah, so when you put together a line of equipment like this and a retirement type sale, there's some options to do.
Right.
Single seller events, we call them.
Right, well folks, again, we were filming for the TV show here today with Ken and Joy, and I'll get you a look at the beautiful equipment. It's very, very windy here today in Allegan, Michigan, so I didn't want to do the interview outside and have the audio disturbed, because honestly, such a joy talking to you guys today about your equipment, your farming career.
Thank you.
But retirement sale, and guys, you had to put together kind of quickly here this year?
Yeah, it wasn't well thought out because of the issue that I've faced with. Yeah, we were going to retire, but kind of a little sooner than
Sure.
what we had predicted.
Right.
Yeah.
And good financial shape. Just
Oh,
yeah.
No, it's a bittersweet pill. Planned on going to the field in January and February. I was kind of told by the health profession that I'd probably better not do that.
Right.
Because got some ongoing things that we're working through.
Sure.
So yeah, thought that the best plan was to reach out to the Sullivan Big Iron crew and get it to where the whole world could try to see the sale.
Right.
Hoping that it wasn't too late in the year, and that there's, just a tremendous audience with both platforms.
Yeah. Well, that is definitely for sure. Great audience with Sullivan and Big Iron. And folks, Ken enjoys the equipment line, beautiful line of equipment, super well cared for. 3 case-sized tractors. Ken, let's talk about those a little bit. You got your 2009 535 quad track, I think 4,726 hours.
Yep.
Now, when we were filming for the TV show, you made me smile on this one because the story on how you got it actually winds back to my hometown of Benson, Minnesota.
Yeah.
So I'll let you pick it up.
Well, I had a 9400T that I disliked, and I thought I wasn't really wanting to go backwards, but I found an 8850 with a Kinsey repower in. Always thought they were unique.
Yep.
And there was one at the auction yard right behind your father's dealership.
Yep.
Ran out, wound up making a deal, bought it, had it trucked back to Michigan here. On the way in, the neighbor seen it, followed it to my place. He wanted it worse than I did, is the best way to say it. And I was fine with that, because then I told my wife, guess what? I'm going to go buy a quad track. And I did. It was a local machine. The quad was a local machine from the Case IH dealer here.
And who's your local dealer? Ken?
It's Ozer Equipment out of Dowagiac, as well as Door, Michigan.
Yep.
My wife even liked it so well, when she had a barn quilt made up, she put it in the center of the barn quilt. So I'm probably the only farmer with a tractor in the middle of his barn quilt.
I love it. Now, I hope this doesn't get you in trouble, Ken, but Joy, when we were filming about the quad track for the TV show, I teed Ken up and he was talking about it, and he kind of, I think, Ken, you said at one point, this is like my second wife.
Yeah, not that I need 2 wives, but one's enough. But no, like my wife, it was always a pleasure.
Yeah.
So,
That's awesome. And you were was that the second, you're the second owner on that one? Or
yes, I am the second owner of that machine, yes.
And here in Michigan with the track tractor, you're varying soils.
It just is an awesome fit, and I just, I can't say enough good about it. Not that it's the only one, but it's just been just a pleasure of a tractor,
Right.
and always look forward to get in it every time to run it.
Right.
It'll be missed.
Right.
It'll be
Well,
missed.
you also have a pair of Magnum 305s.
Yes, sir.
I think an 08 and an 07. The 07 has lower hours, 30s.
Yeah, it had less hours on it when I bought it. Been a very good tractor, and just wanted a second one because I liked the first one so much.
Yep.
And being as how I farm by myself, it just, for me, I was able to put one on a bean planter, one on a corn planter, and I could just kind of get back and forth without switching planters, or even transferring a planter over from corn to beans. I was worked my way into that to where it was just more efficient for me.
Right.
So yes, no, and it was just, they're basically matching tractors, few differences, but very commonly the same. So like going from one to the other, there was no cab difference to relearn yourself with.
And can you now you mentioned farming yourself. So
Yes, sir.
that's quite a lift here over the years, farming by yourself. I imagine maybe buying that same model, maybe even the parts and things. The kind
Yeah,
of
it was
advantages.
nice. They shared the same parts, and so as time's gone on, instead of having a whole cabinet full of filters, I could have one set of spare filters if you ever needed that would work on multiple machines.
Sure.
So that was nice, but just the commonality of having two the same was nice. And instead of making the investment in payroll, I made my investment in equipment.
Right.
And
while we're talking equipment and care for equipment, folks, Dave has a beautiful planter on the sale. I think it's an 11 Case H 1250 16 row. And we were visiting, again, because you were saying, Ken, you farmed on your own, that over the years, when you would finish planting, you didn't wait until just pre-planting to get it ready to roll. You had to do that the previous summer.
yes.
And when it came to washing, it wasn't power washed.
No, it was a hand wash job. I just yeah.
Waxed all his stuff.
Yeah,
all of it.
I it all came with hard-earned money, and so I wanted to be responsible and care for it.
Yeah. Well, folks, it was readily apparent as I walked the line, beautiful equipment. And Dave, from your end, coming in to facilitate with Big Iron on a sale like this, it's got to be fun having a line of equipment like the Darby's here to offer for sale.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and then you get here and, you talk to them on the phone or whatever in the office. They say, hey, we got a nice line of stuff. And you get here and it is a nice line of
Yeah,
stuff. It,
yeah.
It definitely kind of gets you pumped up and amped up, ready to go.
Yeah. Well, again, hats off to you guys at Big Iron, Dave, for the awesome picture quality of pictures, number of pictures, videos of items. So again, folks, check out the sale. It's April 20th, bigiron.com. Look for Darby Farms. And now, Ken, we had a lot of fun visiting here for
Yeah.
the TV filming. And again, I told you get mega bonus points for that Benson, Minnesota connection. But no, I was interested. Your equipment you have sourced from all over the U.S. and Canada.
Yeah.
So you kind of, the joy of the hunt for the piece sounds like.
Yeah, as long as you're spending that kind of money, you might as well try to enjoy it along the way. No foul against the local dealer. I supported the local dealer, whether it was parts or even
Right.
buying tractors or
Right.
forklift from them.
Right.
But they didn't always have what I always wanted when I wanted.
Right.
So it became an adventure. And I learned that it came out of the factory on a truck. So there's no reason it can't come to my farm from the dealership or an auction back on a truck.
Right.
So
Your sprayer, folks, can enjoy. Have a beautiful, I think it's an 11 model.
12 model.
12 Case H
4430.
4430 Patriot. Was that out of southern Nebraska?
Yeah, well, it was
Kansas.
It was out of northern Kansas on the Kansas-Nebraska line, about central Kansas.
Okay.
It come right off, literally the line. We're no more than 5 miles into Kansas.
Okay.
From a co-op out there, and they were a very respectable co-op as far as you could just see their lineup was very nice. And so I didn't feel like I was just buying a co-op machine that had been run by 10 different employees in a week's time. So everything, it came right from the co-op to my farm. and never had issues. You know, it's just been a pleasure to run, and would do it again tomorrow.
And you bought that back kind of when there were more sprayers available.
Yes.
2000, was it 17 or 18 or something?
It would have been in the early winter of 18.
Okay. And
Yeah.
your experience of kind of scouring the internet looking for machinery, both for business and as a passion, you kind of saw that as like, I think this is a deal here for this quality.
Yeah. The thing with the sprayers, you could see the quality without looking at it too hard. As far as, you know, there's not a lot of hidden things. But the one thing, it's kind of sprayers, there's a certain amount of time that they're really idling while you're mixing. So the engine hours aren't all working hours. So when I looked at it, I wasn't just looking at the hour meter, because I was looking, one, at the care, but two, I already knew that it takes so long to load before you actually go out and spray.
Right.
So yeah, it was not a hard decision to make when I found the right machine, and it was not the first machine I looked at that I bought.
Sure.
Spent some time and studied them and got what I wanted.
Well, now, Ken, if it wasn't so windy, I would show you right now, but right next to the sprayer in the Darby's beautiful line of equipment is a floater. Is it a 3185?
It's a 3510.
A 3510, okay.
Yeah, 2005 model.
And I understand you've been getting a lot of calls on that thing.
Yeah, that has generated a lot of interest. It has 3,600 hours, and that again came out of a co-op, but it's most of its life with the co-op, it had a liquid system on it. And then they had put a box on it and bought a new unit when it was time to update. It has the Integra, Ag Leader Integra monitor that stays with the unit. It has a multiplier box in it, and it's got the G4000 new liter box,
Okay.
a little newer box. Just an excellent unit. It took, there again, it went making a job that wasn't always the fun. I don't want to say spreading fertilizer is fun, but it made it more pleasurable.
Yeah.
And very much saved time, and very efficient. And here in Michigan, our fields aren't all ready the same day. So what would happen is a co-op wanted to show up, do it all in one day or 2 days or whatever. But you might have 4 fields that you can't go on yet, and you don't want them on them yet.
Right.
And this way, it gave me that flexibility to do it as I could.
Right.
Not only do it, but do it when the ground was ready for me.
Right.
And so that made the biggest decision on buying that. And excellent machine. It's got the power tarp, and the co-op that had set it up did it right with the Integra system. And it's just a nice unit, clean for what it is.
Well, folks, you're looking for a good floater. We got one here April 20th on the Darby Farms auction on bigiron.com. And again, right down that big, beautiful red line, sharp combine, a 2014 9230.
Yes, sir.
1,659 SEP hours on it. Can you tell us the story on it, Ken?
Yeah, I'm the second owner. I bought it. It came out of Streeter, Illinois, from a Case IH dealer there in town, Stollers. Had to put a transition cone and cage. I knew that up front. Did the work myself, bought the extended wear parts, and there's also some extra parts on the sale. The combine did not require them. I bought them ahead of time, thinking that I would do it down the road, but they weren't ready to be replaced yet. And so that's why those parts sit in the shop new on the sale. But, you know, the combine's just been an excellent machine. Just a joy to run compared to the 815 I started with.
Yeah, we were talking, folks. Again, I've been doing TV. We're in season 11 now, and the fun is, meeting great people like Ken and Joey here. And we got talking. I asked Ken what his first combine he ever drove was, and you've been a red combine guy from walk through the 815 to the
815, 1480, 2166. 2388, 8010 to the 9230.
And you were thinking maybe that 2388 who could top that?
Yeah, I mean, and they were a excellent machine, and the was great. But then, Yes, when I got into it was a late modeled 8010 that I bought, and wow, I thought I had the cat by the tail then, but I really got it by the tail now with the 9230, and there again, I wanted a little bigger tire to carry the machine. Here in Michigan, where I'm located, we don't freeze. So our harvest has to continue even.
We're close to the lake here, right?
We are 15 miles from the Lake Michigan.
Okay.
So that's why I actually got rear wheel drive. Have not had to really use it though since owning this machine, but that was an added bonus.
Wow. And again, farming on your own.
Yes.
Enjoy, I think, I can't remember, how many pickups?
6.
6 pickups.
6 pickups.
So you guys, your system, you'd be set around your farms. Can you just go into a little more detail there?
Yeah, my wife worked off the farm, so either I'd have to get her a little bit out of bed when she didn't want to early in the morning and say we're going to play pickup Monopoly. So we would drop one off, and then I'd try to go, okay, I'm going to be to this next farm and drop another one off, and then we'd have one at the grain set up. So if we needed to get back to the field after bringing a semi or vice versa. So yeah, it was just leapfrogging from farm to farm, but not wanting, you'd get friends and neighbors offer to give you rides, but didn't want to impose and
But it was no problem for me to get up at.
yeah, it was easier to have your wife do it and maybe tell her you'll take her for an egg or an omelet in the morning or something, but she never had time for that either.
Well, now, guys, we were, again, just visiting, and again, thanks for sharing the history on your farm. And when you guys got started, now I'm trying to remember, there was a story about a fax machine. What was,
Yeah, we were actually looking at a tractor when we were young down south, and we were at a John Deere dealership, and we had our house up for sale, and the realtor called us and said that I got a signed offer, and so she's like, but we need you to sign the paperwork. Well, this is kind of pre-email and download and sign it.
Right.
So I asked the dealership if we could use their fax machine, and wound up doing the deal at the dealership, selling our house instead of buying their tractor, but it all worked out, and so yeah, and that was one of the rare moments that she got to experience chasing me around.
Now, on the topic of chasing around Joy, with your husband's many journeys to find that piece of equipment, I understand you did accompany on one particular trip up north of the border to Saskatchewan.
I did. It was a very long trip, and it was very cold going through North Dakota.
It does tend to get that way, doesn't it? Yeah.
And we went sideways on that's the first time I have ever experienced the trailer coming sideways as we're going down the road. And
right.
I said, I think it's time to park for the night. I'm all done.
And Ken, you were saying that it was kind of chilly.
Yeah, it was actually the end of March, and we just bought the brand new 05 Dodge, and I said, well, we had a rock picker, and we had to go up to, I thought, well, let's just go get it instead of hiring trucking. Be a fun trip. And I told her, I think it'll be warm by the time we get up there, and I think it was about 30 below was the warm temperature, and I'm not exaggerating.
It was. We had to run all night.
Yeah, we left the pickup run all night because we were afraid that it might not start. I didn't bring an extension cord. I was a rookie going north. But
did you have a comment to the border guy?
Yeah, the border guy kind of was wondering what in the heck we were doing that far north that time of year. And I said, well, I thought it'd be warmer. And he said, yeah, you're from the south. We're just going to let you through. And I remember one thing also is we were listening to a talk show radio on the radio in the pickup, and they were talking about neighbors. And the radio host said, well, how far is your neighbor from you? And he said, well, he's 25 miles. And my wife looked at me, and she says, that ain't a neighbor. That's 25 miles away. And I said, but it's big country up here. That is your neighbor.
Welcome to North Dakota.
Yeah, you're far and few between, and you appreciate the ones that are.
Absolutely. Well, and again, just visiting, Ken, it seems to me like you've, even on maybe trips where you've gone a lot of miles, and the deal didn't work out.
Oh yeah, you
Still-
always
still
have
fun.
a drive run.
Yeah. Well, and again, folks, beautiful line of equipment selling April 20th on BigIron.com for Darby Farms. And we were talking about the combine, also your corn head. Boy, we've been seeing tremendously increased buyer demand for these Drago GT heads. And you got an 8-row 30, and you had a little chunk of ground over by the lake. It was in the DNR ground or something?
Yeah, it's a DNR owned wildlife refuge. It's in the migratory bird route along the lakeshore in Michigan.
And you'd had some down corn over
And
there?
yes, we experienced some down corn and had the opportunity to buy a Drago head, and nothing ventured, nothing gained, and learned very quickly that was the one to have, not just for down corn, but just corn picking, period. And then started out with a Series 2, and then I was able to update to this GT 8-row head, and with the end augers as well as the spring-loaded deck plates, and really enjoyed that, and just a tremendous head.
Got that out of Indiana?
Yes, it came. I originally bought it down by Evansville, Indiana.
And that Drago dealer down there really took care of you?
Yes, the Drago of Indiana has just been a tremendous dealer to work with. Very knowledgeable and willing to share their knowledge with the customer instead of saying we'll send a guy out. Right. No, they will walk you through any step that you need to be rehearsed on.
Well, again, folks, I can't stress enough. It's just a beautiful line of equipment selling April 20th, Darby Farms. It's on BigIron.com. Of course, absolute sale, no buyer's fees. Ken and Joy, thank you so much for your time and hospitality. And I know, Ken, you were mentioning the docs maybe told you to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
You haven't, but leading up to the sale, I know it's busy.
Yeah, I actually feel like I've been busier because I'm getting all the equipment out and going, and not that it needed it, but I wasn't going to have anything that wasn't right, so I wanted it right.
Well, you want a good piece of equipment with history of care behind it, unmatched, folks. Again, click that bid button, April 20th, Darby Farms, BigIron.com. Ken and Joy and Dave, thank you guys for your help with our filming today, and can't wait for the watch those sale results on Thursday.
Thank you.
Your next piece of equipment is on MachineryPete.com. Search equipment from dealerships across the country to find what you're looking for. Only on MachineryPete.com.